Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another round of racing here in Ultimate Racing League. I am your host, Panic at the Tesco, bringing you all of the action from this weekend's Manufacturers Trophy Series here at Spa-Francorchamps. And we are here tonight with our first of two races that I am going to be commentating for you. The first race is the Group 4 cars, and in qualifying it's Sumi Dan who set the pace, setting pole position. He'll be starting in his Gr4 Ferrari on pole position, starting on the soft tyres. Everybody give him a round of applause for his second pole of the season. Bringing up second place is another Ferrari. This time it is Keyboard Captain in his brand new, newly launched livery here. This Puig, am I saying that right? Puig Tech Parts Racing Ferrari, taking up second place on these soft tyres. Moving back onto the second row of the grid, if there are rows, because this is a rolling start, of course, we have Ninky, who will be taking a chance actually starting on the mediums. And the sharp-eyed amongst you will notice that there is a bit of a difference about Ninky's car. So Ninky has ditched Team Penske to go with his Emirates-sponsored Porsche Cayman S there in third place on the mediums. Going back into fourth place, we have Carlsberg, who has now got a Carlsberg-themed car. Hooray! It makes my job as a commentator so much easier to see a Carlsberg car on Carlsberg's car. And he will be starting in the 177 machine on the soft tyres in that lovely Lexus. Now we have something that is definitely going to confuse me as a commentator, and it's going to confuse you as a viewer, because we have the Saint, but not the Saint, the Saint. Yes, you heard that right. We have two Saints on the grid. I didn't realise this, and yeah, we didn't have two Saints on the grid last race. This is the Saint, and I'm going to say the Saint, like with a question mark, and the other guy's going to be the Saint with an exclamation mark. That's how we're going to differentiate between the two going forwards. But this is the Saint with car number one. I think we're going to have to tell him that. I think number one is reserved for the champion of Ultimate Racing League. But can't doubt that we all love Thingamajig, and he will be starting in his Porsche on the soft tyres. Moving down one more spot, so we have Hoyland here on the medium tyres in his number 13 Lexus for Team Gr4 Racing. Best of luck to Hoyland this race. He had a lot of bad luck last race, so let's hope he has a bit more this time round. And now we have the Saint again. This time the Saint in the number 21 machine in the Porsche. With the soft tyres, maintaining his livery from the last race, which makes my job easier because I only have to remember one set of liveries. Talking of keeping the same livery, we have the Makita Racing Volkswagen of Hawkeye on the mediums, and then let's go back to the back row. So on the back row we have Rufus, who had a bit of a disaster in qualifying, I'm assuming. I haven't seen qualifying, but it must have gone a little badly because he is second to last, unfortunately. He's starting on the soft tyres, so I'm sure he's got his eyes on the prize going forwards in his Porsche Racing Cayman S. And then bringing up the rear, we have another Carlsberg livery, just to mess with me a little bit. So we've got two Saints and two Carlsbergs, but only one Carlsberg and two Saints. And this one is Sid the Sloth's Jaguar F-Type, starting in last place on the soft tyres. And here we are as we run down to the start line to begin the race. Sumi Dan gets us underway, and we are go for round two of the Manufacturers Trophy. It's Sumi Dan leading the way into Eau Rouge, closely followed by Keyboard Captain, who is going to be trying to get into his slipstream down the Camel Straight. Let's go on board with Keyboard Captain. We can see just how close he is. He's getting the toe. He is getting such a strong slipstream. These two cars identical identical as they make their way into Lacombe at the end of the straight, and Keyboard Captain has taken the lead. He's just going to try and edge it out on the brakes. Can he get the apex? He does. There's slight contact there between the two of them, but they both get around cleanly. Carlsberg bringing it up in third with Ninky close on his tail. Oh, and I saw a collision in the background. I can see there is a car off in the background. Let's pause it. Let's go back and see what's happened. Who's involved in this? It's not Sid the Sloth. It is Hoyland is in the gravel. Let's see what happened. Let's go back and see the replay. We don't have a director here. I am the director and the commentator. So let's see. He was running in 6th place, chasing down the Saint, followed by the Saint. Which of these Saints is involved? Is either involved, or did he just lose it on his own? Let's see. So he gets around the outside, and then, oh, it was the Saint. The Saint's just given him a bit of an elbow there. Let's go back and then see that from the Saint's point of view, and then we'll crack on and see how Keyboard Captain and Dan get on for the rest of the lap. So we need to pick up the correct Saint here. So the Saint in black in the Porsche. Actually, they're both in Porsches, aren't they? But only one of them's in a black Porsche. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I think he's lost control of the controller. Look, he's just coasting. The car isn't taking any inputs. And, yep, look, the indicators are on, and he's just on auto drive. I think he's had some kind of... Oh, yeah, he's definitely had some kind of control failure there. Hoyland must be wondering what on earth happened there. So let's go back, because I can see that there was still some racing to be had between Itsumi Dan and Keyboard Captain. So where were we? This amazing battle, Keyboard Captain taking on Itsumi Dan as we go down into Beau Rivage, and Itsumi Dan gets to the inside through Beau Rivage. He's going to push him out wide. No, they leave each other racing room, nice and respectful. Now Keyboard Captain switches to the inside through No Name Corner. I'm not making that up, it's generally got no name. Keyboard Captain has just had to settle for 2nd place. Is he going to fall in line? Yes, he does. Is he going to have a go through Puon? He's thinking about it, but he just can't do it. Oh, and I think Itsumi Dan is just out there slightly wide, so he's allowing him to get back in the tow. Meanwhile, let's go on board from Carlsberg. We can see this battle shaping up in front of us. Is he going to have a go through the Lafanya chicane? No, he can't. He's just falling into line, and my God, I need a drink after that. That was exciting. That was such a good opening sequence of corners. So Keyboard Captain's now going to try and get back in that slipstream again. So let's go on board with the nose camera as he runs out of Stavelot down into Blanchimont, aiming to reach a speed of about 140 miles per hour at the end of this straight, and Itsumi Dan holds the inside line, make him go around the long way here. Keyboard Captain's really going to, he's having to back out of it, because Itsumi Dan knows that he can just run wide to the apex, and this means that he's not going to be able to get him into the old bus stop. It's now just called the chicane, because it's no longer a bus stop, and besides, buses stopped running there some years ago. Oh, and more contact. We just picked that up in the background. That is the Saint, and I think it was Hawkeye who was hitting him there, wasn't it? So let's just go back and see what happens with Hawkeye. Does he miss his braking point? So Hawkeye in the Makita Drills Volkswagen. I think it's not a Golf, is it? It's the other one. Oh yes, just way too late, and at that point you just pray you're hitting no one, but unfortunately he has hit the other Saint. So it's a bad start for both Saints, although he's managed to gather it up quite alright there. The big benefactor in that was Ninky, obviously, although Ninky did get a penalty. I'm not sure if it was because of the contact. Gran Turismo is sometimes very cruel when it comes to being hit off the track and giving the car that left the track a penalty. But Ninky up into 4th place then. Say up into 4th, he started in 3rd, didn't he? But yes, and then Carlsberg taking 3rd place. Keyboard Captain now with a penalty. So we missed that, but he must have run wide at La Sauce. That's the easiest place at the start of a lap to get a penalty. And he's not in the slipstream range. He is in the slipstream, but I don't think he's going to get anywhere near the back of Itsumi Dan, and Dan will know that. Dan not even bothering to defend this, because he knows that there is no way you're going to pull on the brakes from that far back going into Lacombe. So as we take the exit of Lacombe going into Malmedy, both Itsumi Dan and Keyboard Captain taking the perfect line through there. That is exactly what you want to do to take a good lap time through there. Is you're going to be far over to the left and then sweeping to the right full throttle as a go down into the horrible Beau Rivage, keeping it to the far right. It really comes at you fast this next corner. You've got to get the car over to the far right, otherwise you are going to miss that apex. You've got to be careful with the curbs down there as well. Let's watch them go through into Pouhon, and look at that, actually, Carlsberg, quite a bit more wear on his front tyres already. He's going to have to manage that. Carlsberg just hanging back ever so slightly, but he has got the opportunity here to get past Keyboard Captain when he takes that penalty. Half a second penalty doesn't sound like much, but it's the slowing down and speeding up that really gets you. By the way, I am appreciating those sponsors, Carlsberg. I see the Tesco sponsors on there. I told you not to tell anyone. I told you that £5 that I gave you, and keep it to yourself. But anyway, we've got some lovely Tesco sponsors on there. I'm not allowed to have favourites, am I? So don't panic at the Tesco sponsors. Let's see from Carlsberg's point of view. So we see Keyboard Captain taking the penalty down there. Let's check. He's doing 125 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Carlsberg is doing 131. So he is gaining, but he seems really far back. He doesn't look like he's going to get the run. Oh, I thought he would. I thought he would be up the inside of the chicane here, but he's obviously much closer. He's very late on the brakes compared to Keyboard Captain, but he gets it slowed down perfectly. Takes that apex, and now this is all about how smooth he can be on the power. Very smooth. That runs out to the outside very nicely there. Well done, Carlsberg. So we're going to follow them now down through La Source. Easy place to pick up a penalty here, as Keyboard Captain got one last lap. But nice and tidy so far. Yes, they all get through. And Hawkeye pitching very early there. I just noticed in 8th place, Hawkeye going into the pits. Oh, we've got a bit of a conflagration here. Rufus has got himself past Ninky, and Ninky is having thoughts about that because he looks very close. Are they going to go through? No, they're not going to go side by side through Eau Rouge. It's Radion, actually. Eau Rouge is this one. Oh, no, they are. I got it the wrong way around. Eau Rouge is the bottom. But he is now in slipstream range, is Ninky, on Rufus. And Rufus has got a penalty, so all Ninky has to do is hold tight. Sorry I missed the overtake from Rufus on Ninky. He clearly got past. The Saint having a good race up in 4th place. And let's just remind you that Rufus is on the soft tyres, whereas Ninky's on the mediums. So it's really important now that Rufus gets that hammer down and builds a gap up in front of Ninky, because it's going to be very hard to stay in front once he's on the medium tyres. In front of him, the Saint is also on the softs, so Saint and Rufus are in equal machinery at the moment. And Rufus staying on the Saint quite nicely here. Let's go from the chase camera. We've not used this one for a while, and let's just check the gap back. Oh, missing the apex there, but he's on the power okay on the exit, and he seems to be gaining on the Saint on the exit down here as well. Ever so slightly gaining. Now, don't get into a fight, Rufus, because it'll just cost you more time. Don't think it's worth going for an overtake. That's just my opinion. Always ran way wide. That's going to compromise him. You might even get another penalty for that, because Gran Turismo is horrible when it comes to giving you penalties for things you don't deserve. But no, he's managed to avoid a penalty, but the penalty he's got now is that he's got Ninky all over his bottom. And he's about to take a penalty, and he has taken it, and Ninky's gone through to take 5th place. So he's got some work to do now, has Rufus. He needs to be a ruthless Rufus and get back, use those soft tyres to good effect to get back at Ninky. Meanwhile, Itsumi Dan seems to be enjoying a lot of free air. He's managed to break that toe back to Keyboard Captain, it seems. So it's a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. Itsumi Dan leads, Keyboard Captain leads Carlsberg, and Carlsberg has pitted. Oh, look at the tyres. Oh gosh, those tyres are absolutely dead. That front left, it's bolder than my dad's head. So yeah, that's a very nasty looking front left, and I wonder if the other Lexus of Hoyland's going to have the same problem. But he's on the mediums, is Hoyland, so it's hard to tell whether that front left's wearing any faster than the right. But this is how a pit stop happens in Gran Turismo, by the way. Everyone plays musical statues. The guy with the wheel gun there is winning. He's not moved at all. Look at that. Oh, he's moved. Oh, I can see him moving. Oh dear, he's out. If it was Squid Game, he'd have just got shot for moving. But anyway, the photographer there standing by to take a picture of a stationary car like you do. Anyway, let's go back up and see what's happening up and down the grid. Because obviously we're here to talk about racing and not take the mickey out of the pit crew. So Ninky chasing down the Saint. I say chasing down, he's on the mediums, but the Saint has to watch out here because, I reckon the pit window here is around lap 4 or 5 for the soft tyres. Those softs are actually looking pretty good on lap 4 for the Saints. I'd probably hang them out just one more lap. But once you start seeing deltas to your fastest lap of 1.3 seconds and upwards, the medium tyres are going to be faster. So let's see, his last lap was a 2:33.133. So about 4/10 slower than the lap before. So not really seeing much deg at the moment for the Saint. And there we go, you see Rufus has caught up with Ninky. If you're wondering what's happening further down the grid, by the way, I can see on the minimap that there's not a huge amount of action going on. So Hoyland is just having his own race. The Saint has managed to recover. So he's back into 7th place. Obviously, we've got Colesberg and Hawkeye are pitted, and Sid's just out for a nice Sunday drive. I'm sure he's pushing very hard, but maybe just struggling a little bit more with the car than the others. So Sid down there in 8th and picking up a penalty as well. But I'm sure that Sid will get a bit more speed out of that car by the end of the season. Let's see what Rufus is doing now on Ninky. So he's still quite far back. Nice tight apex there, and it looks like Ninky might be about to pick up a penalty. He may have got away with it actually. No, he didn't. Haha, called it. I can see a penalty from a mile off. I can. Yes, what Ninky did there was he put 2 wheels outside of the yellow bit of the curb. So if you do that, you do get half a second penalty because Gran Turismo hates you. It hates everyone, but especially people who dare to put tyres on curbs. And Ninky still sort of holding position though. He's not really brought the gap down to the Saint, but he has got an uphill challenge whilst he's on the mediums. Let's check the Saints' last lap time. So actually having a negative degradation, very consistent from the Saint, within say a couple of tenths lap to lap there. So nice consistent performance. As the fuel burns down, the lap times do get faster, but the tyres also wear out. Let's see compared to our leaders. So the fastest lap currently held by Sumi Dan, a 2:31.7. But look at that, Dan is definitely experiencing some deg. His last lap, just over a second slower than his fastest lap. And the tyres on that Ferrari do seem like they are worse than the tyres on the Porsche. You see, if we go backwards and forwards, look at the tyres, they are slightly worse. So the Ferrari just using a tiny bit more of its tyres than the Porsche does. And I would, if I was Dan, be probably pitting this lap, but we'll have to see what he does. Meanwhile, we've got Keyboard Captain in 2nd place. Not able to match the outright pace there of Itsumi Dan, so he's in the 2:32s. But also having a better last lap, not as much deg, but that could also just be down to consistency of the driver when it's a couple of tenths anyway. So we see them both come down into the chicane to finish lap number 5, and that brings us to halfway through the race. That is a perfect time for you to go get a cup of tea, like this video. Be sure to do that. That's the most important step of making a cup of tea, is to like this video and then subscribe to me as well, because I want some money. The extra 5 pence that I get for having you as a subscriber means that I can afford an extra tea bag. Itsumi Dan does pit in 3rd place, followed by the Saint, who also pits, and followed by Ninky, who also pits. So these guys doing 5 laps on the softs, 5 laps on the mediums. That's a very safe way of doing the strategy, and it should pay off actually. We have to make sure that no one here is going to get a pit lane penalty, and I think the Saint might have got one, because there's a little telltale sign here that his in-lap is in red and invalid. That invalid sign usually suggests that you got a pit lane entry penalty. So you know what? Actually, let's just pause it. I'm going to bet a fiver on this. Let's see what he does. Oh, hang on. The cameraman was snoozing. Fire the cameraman. Fire him. He wasn't looking the right way. Here he is. There's the Saint. Seriously, fire that cameraman. Oh, yeah, there you go. Penalty. Penalty. Look at that. He is definitely not in the pit lane there. I think maybe he missed the pit entry. But yeah, that is absolutely going to be a 3-second penalty for the Saint. So Ninki enters into the second part of the pit lane. This is the longest pit lane in the world, at approximately 50 miles long. It takes a good 50 seconds to get down the pit lane here. It is ridiculous. There are the musical statues again, staring, looking, just staring at the tarmac, basically. That's all they're doing. Look, that guy's just basically looking at a shadow. And there's the Saint, and it's Imi Dan. Let's just talk about who's in the lead. So, important point. Let's get back to the point. Keyboard captain takes the lead. But he's now got a lap on very worn RS tyres, and he was a bit wide there through Beau Rivage. Rufus with the softs on his Porsche also staying out a bit longer, and it's Imi Dan. Very wobbly on the pit exit. Is he going to get a penalty? Is he going to get a penalty? Oh, he got away with it. Good lad. Lucky. Sid the Sloth promoted up into 4th by virtue of not pitting. And now we see the Saint Exits in the pit also avoided a penalty. Carlsberg rejoins, returns to 6th place. And, no, Ninki did get a penalty. Let's go back and laugh at him. So let's go and see what he did. Unfortunately, there's no camera footage. The CCTV of the pit exit is down, so we have to go from onboard. It does make it a little bit more difficult to see whether they went over the white line. He's okay. He did a Tesco. That's exactly what I did in the Cup race yesterday. So, yeah, I've been there, done that. You get through the hard part of the pit exit, which is the little turn, and then you just balls it up on the straight part. It's so easy just to touch that line, and obviously that's completely deserving of a 3-second penalty because he's a cheater and he should be punished. No, I'm being sarcastic. Gran Turismo is just such a broken game sometimes. But anyway, so let's not laugh too hard at Ninki because that has absolutely ruined his race. 3 seconds, trust me, it's more like a 6-second penalty because you've got to decelerate, then accelerate. You're basically going to be doing 50 miles an hour in the middle of Blanchimont, which is absolutely horrible. So, anyway, sucks to be him. But I'm sure he'll come back. And there's Rufus going the correct side of the bollard. Rufus, you see, Rufus has studied the map and he knows that you go to the right of the bollard. Keyboard captain, so he's 30 miles an hour in this pit lane. God, that's awful. Well, anyway, I'll write a letter. That's better, 37. I'll write a letter to the Belgian government and complain about that, see if we can get that changed for next race. 37 miles an hour, no wonder it takes so long to get down the pit lane. Anyway, Sid the Sloth, let's focus on Sid the Sloth a bit. He's managed to get himself up to 4th place. Very good for Sid, but unfortunately that's because he's not pitted, and look at the state of that front left. It's interesting that the amount of wear on the tyres doesn't necessarily correspond with how hard you're pushing the car around the corners, because Sid is, actually Sid's just got lost there. Aliens, that was clear proof aliens exist. He clearly got beamed up and teleported there. That's oh god, Gran Turismo for you. So switching over to Carlsberg, we can see Carlsberg right on the back of the Saint. So Carlsberg recovering after that early pit stop. He has got to make the mediums last for quite a long time here, so they will be more worn than the Saint's fresh brand new mediums. But Carlsberg has unfortunately got himself a penalty. He's going to try and keep as close to the Saint as possible through Eau Rouge and try and pick up the toe now. Let's go on board and see how well he does that. So he's having to lift. He's kind of mistimed his run a little bit, but he should still be all right to have a go in the slipstream down here. He's going to go to the inside, but the Saint pushing him really close to the edge. I think that's fair, and Rufus comes out with a penalty, but right in the way. We're going to have another car sandwich. It's going to be like Le Mans all over again. Carlsberg going to the inside. Is he going to be the last of the late breakers? Rufus doesn't fight too hard, thank God. They all make it through. So it's now Carlsberg in fourth, the Saint in third, with Rufus on brand new mediums coming out of the pit lane, but he has picked up a penalty. We'll go back to see where he got that penalty in a moment, but right now the action is just too intense. Rufus is keeping on the back of Carlsberg here as well. Those fresh mediums clearly coming into their own here. He'll have got them up to temperature by now. And the Saint defending from Carlsberg. So the two are side by side. Carlsberg trying to take the inside through Pouon. Can he hold it? Can he hold it? He can't hold it. And Rufus is right there. Rufus gets just nerfed ever so slightly wide. Rufus now just nibbling away, but to be honest, I would say, Rufus, don't get involved. Don't get involved, mate. You've got a 3-second penalty, and you're not, even if you pass them, you're just going to hand it back in the next corner. So just, your goal should be try and get through these corners as fast as possible and don't go on the attack. That's just my advice. Hey, I'm just paid to talk. I'm lying because I'm not actually paid. If I was paid, wouldn't that be great? But anyway, so Carlsberg and Rufus take the penalty. There's the difference between a half a second and a 3-second penalty. It really is brutal. So Rufus falling back there. And I've just noticed his number plate fast and loud. That's half true. He's fast. Let's go back. You see the joke there? You thought I was going to say he's not fast. I'll behave. He's definitely fast. He's just not loud. Let's see where he gets this penalty. He's done the same thing. It's catching everyone out today, isn't it? Maybe it's just a Porsche thing because Ninky was in the Porsche as well. So let's just watch this one more time because it is glorious, this sequence. So Rufus giving the toe. You know what? I want to go from Rufus's rear view camera of this glorious move. Let's go back to the pit lane and watch as Rufus accidentally sabotages Carlsberg's brilliant attempt at an overtake. By giving the toe to the Saint. So here we go. He's actually giving the toe to Carlsberg, but then the Saint moves over and takes the toe. The Saint says, I'm going to go around the outside, and he does. And the meat in a Gr4 sandwich this time is Porsche flavoured. Last race we had the Ferrari sandwich. This time we've got a Porsche sandwich. Vegetarian options are available, of course. Let's go back around to the end of the lap. So there is Rufus kind of getting involved, and well, I'll just say it again. See, tagging Carlsberg, I just wouldn't be involved if I was in that situation. I'd just be hanging back and let Carlsberg get on with it on the Saint. Go and give the Saint a hard time because this 3-second penalty, it's unsurvivable. Doesn't help anyone if everyone's slow, does it? So it comes around, and this is where we were. So he's going to take that 3-second penalty right now. The Saint maintaining third place. We've got a big gap up until keyboard captain, and then another gap to Itsumi Dan. And I have missed that. I apologise. So Itsumi Dan did come out in front of keyboard captain, and I'm hearing my earpiece that he came out a fair distance in front of keyboard captain as well. There was no drama to be had, so we were happy just roasting the pit crews and watching all of those silly penalties. We did miss that little piece of action there. I'm going to fire the director. As I said, I don't have one. So Carlsberg regrouping after that penalty. He now needs to focus. Make sure you don't get no more penalties, mate. The Saint is there. You can catch him. We have got 3 more laps as we enter Eau Rouge for the 8th time. That Lexus sounds lovely as well down the straights. It's got a nice burble to it. Lovely car. Not actually that fast down the back straight though. Reaching just 136. So for reference, the faster cars tend to reach about 138 to 139 through there. But that's not due to the driver at all. That is just every car has a different amount of power and a different amount of drag. So the Lexus not being one of the better ones down the back straight. So we now have this battle raging on between the 2 Porsches, between Rufus and a recovering Ninky. So Ninky has got the gap back down to Rufus. Well, they've both had a 3-second penalty, haven't they? So no wonder they're so close on track. Hoyland just hanging out there at the back with some slightly worn softs. Let's keep an eye on that. I said earlier that the Lexus was wearing its softs a little bit more. So let's see. Ninky taking a tighter line there through Pouon. It looks like he could be sizing up an attack here through the Fania chicane. Rufus, gone too deep there, too deep. He's going to compromise him, and look at that. Ninky is all over him. He's got up the inside, and I think he might just fancy his chances. Yes, he's got him through Stavolo. I did say, though, that Ninky, being on the soft tyres, would have the advantage in the second half of the race. Well, it turns out that is true, as they make it through Campus Corner and back onto the back straight, if you can call it that. Let's just call it Blanchimont. It's not really straight. And Rufus trying his best to stay in the slipstream. I think he is gaining a little bit of top speed here. So yes, he's hitting out at 143 top speed as we break down into the chicane. But he's going to have his work cut out to keep up with Ninky in the corners, isn't he? So now the question is, can he hold off Hoyland? So Hoyland is coming for you, Rufus. But there we go, look at that front left. That front left is worn out already on that Lexus. So it seems to be a problem with the Lexus itself. Maybe that front left was designed by the grad student or something, and he was too busy vaping on his vape pen and not designing the suspension, something like that. Either way, the front left is heavily worn there. The Saint there in 3rd place with very little going on. So actually Carlsberg has fallen back, so Carlsberg not really able to challenge with 2:33.2 versus a 2:34.3. So a second lap slower for Carlsberg over the Saint. So I think the Saint at this stage will be watching his lap times. He'll be watching his delta on his dashboard. Again, we've got to fire the person who does the timings, because look, there's no timings on the timing tower on the left. So I'm just having to eyeball the gaps. But there are some fairly big gaps at the end of the race now. It's not like Le Mans where they were fighting each other all the way to the end. It looks like everyone's fairly spread out here. Rufus picking up another penalty. I don't think we've got a prize for most penalties. I think we should have one though. So comments, put a suggestion in the comments for the name of the most penalties trophy. We need to come up with a name for it. The blank award. Rufus running over our camera there. Rufus really putting on a show, and well, I thought for a second he got another penalty for that, but no, it's just the way that the penalty flashes when you change camera. Shall we go on board with someone? Because I don't think there's a huge amount happening on track right now, and obviously, as I've said, like and subscribe, perfect time to do it. But let's go on board with we'll not do a full lap, but we'll do a couple of corners with Itsumi Dan and see how he's getting on with these medium tyres. It is so difficult to get them through that final corner because there's very little grip there. So 8/10ths down on his pace that he had on the softs. So braking just as you pass the light board on the right, and you want to be close to that AstroTurf if you can be. A little bit hesitant on the accelerator there, but a solid effort. Let's see how he goes down into the bottom of Eau Rouge. You want to be trying to get 2 wheels over the rumble strip on the left. He's actually not needing the rumble strip on the left. Oh, very good. That Ferrari having more grip than my Mustang, because in my Mustang I was having to use the full rumble strip on the left there. Not much to talk about down the Kemmel Straight, it's just a very long straight. But braking into Lacombe just as you pass the 50 board there and then sweep it in, you want to stay left here, so he's backing off the accelerator. That's the right thing to do, because then that straightens out the chicane. He's having to take a small bit of a lift. Let's see what Keyboard Captain does. Does Keyboard Captain take it flatter? Oh, he takes it in 4th gear, and that is actually better from Keyboard Captain there. That was well taken. Let's rate everyone through here. So the Saint just having a small lift, but again keeping his car over to the left. And then we've actually fallen too far behind here. So we've got Rufus. Oh, nah, you see Rufus not using all of the track width there and then sort of starting to run out of room. So we've seen good examples and bad examples through there. Anyway, let's focus for a second on Hoyland. He was making an attack on Rufus, but I think that attack's come to nothing now, because look at his last lap, 235 on that last lap. Mind you, faster than Rufus, who also did a 235 with a penalty. Rufus hasn't got a penalty this time, but look at the state of that front left tyre. That would not pass an MOT, would it? Let's just talk about Hawkeye. Let's not forget he is in this race. He's just having a quiet one in 8th place. After that slight bit of contact at the start of the race, he's then had a quiet afternoon. And then, the Saint. I thought he was going to make a comeback after that controller disconnect. It looked like for a moment he was going to. He got himself back up into the field, but now just sadly running around in 9th place. So hard luck there. And then Sid, some way off the back, it must be said. But as I said, I'm sure he will find his feet in that car sooner or later. So let's just, we have to keep encouraging people. And I'm such a bad commentator, let's just pretend that I caught Isumi Dan taking the checkered flag. So he wiggles and flashes his lights. He's entitled to do that. He's on the radio to the pit crew, thanking everyone, saying you did a great job. And Keyboard Captain bringing it home in 2nd place. He's got a penalty, but it won't cause any problems at all. The Saint and Ninky in 3rd and 4th respectively. We just lost shot on the Saint there, but I assure you he crossed the line in 3rd. And we got Carlsberg in 5th, and Rufus almost caught him on that final lap, must be said. And then bringing up 7th place, we've got Hoyland. And then finally we've got Hawkeye, the Saint, and then Sid the Sloth. Whilst we wait, we'll just wait for the Saint to finish, but as we wait, 2:31.788 was our fastest lap of the race. An extra point for that going to Isumi Dan, meaning that he has got the treble here of taking pole position, getting the fastest lap and the win. No quadruple, because he didn't lead every lap, because the Keyboard Captain did lead that lap when he pitted. What else is there to say other than well done to Isumi Dan. He will be starting in last place in the next race, because it's a reverse grid race, sharing the back row with Keyboard Captain. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned, because I will be uploading the Group 3 race very shortly, where we'll be seeing the bigger brothers of these cars come out to really show some power around Spa. Thank you once again. I've been your host, Panic at the Tesco, wishing you a good day.